Hey guys, you're listening to the most captivating podcast in iTunes. That's right, the Elite Man Podcast, where we turn average men into elite men every day. We interview the very best experts from the lifestyle, health, fitness, social, and even entrepreneurial worlds. And with their help, we give you some of the best advice on the planet. Subscribe now if you haven't already and enjoy the show. And oh yeah, if you really enjoy it, leave us a review. On today's episode number 159, entitled How to Live a Better Life Every Day, I chat with Brian Falchuk. Brian Falchuk is a best-selling author, life coach, Inc. magazine contributor, and a behavioral change specialist. In today's episode, Brian talks about how to live one day at a time and how to take the right steps every day to make it better than the last. He dives into his formula for day-to-day success and shares his personal story of overcoming deep inner pain and outward struggles with being overweight for years, and ultimately what he did to overcome his problems and help others as a result. If you're wondering how you can live a better life every day and what goes into making your life as happy and successful as possible, check this episode out now. You are going to love it. Hey, if you haven't signed up for the Elite Man newsletter yet, go to elitemanmagazine.com/newsletter. This is an incredible newsletter which helps you become the best man you can be. Every single week, we give you the best tips, strategies, and techniques for helping you master your personal, social, and business life and give you exclusive content not seen nor heard on the podcast or anywhere else. That's elitemanmagazine.com/newsletter. Sign up right now. And now, a word from our fantastic Elite Man podcast sponsors. You want to look good in your underwear and be comfortable, right? But that perfect balance is hard to find. Don't sacrifice style or comfort. Check out MeUndies.com and find the best pair of underwear in the world. MeUndies will be the most comfortable pair of underwear you will own. It's made from a sustainably sourced, naturally soft fabric that's 3 times softer than cotton. I have on a pair of MeUndies right now, and I have to be honest, it feels absolutely incredible. They're the ultimate feel-good undies for when you want to feel naked, but not actually be naked. For you gentlemen, MeUndies' diamond seam pouch cradles your jewels and gives your stuff the support it needs without feeling too tight. And the ladies will love the soft, eco-friendly fabric as well. Right now, MeUndies has an exclusive offer just for my listeners. Get 20% off your first pair plus free shipping. MeUndies is so sure you will love their underwear, they even offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't love your first pair, you get a full refund. This is a no-brainer to try. 20% off, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to MeUndies.com/elite. That's MeUndies.com/elite. This is a limited time offer, so what are you waiting for? Start wearing the best underwear of your life. It changed my life. It's time to let MeUndies change yours as well. Go to MeUndies.com/elite right now. All right, guys, we're live. It's Justin Stenstrom from EliteManMagazine.com, and my guest today is Brian Falchuk from DoADayBook.com. Brian, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Justin.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I got a chance to go over the book that you came out with recently, just kind of skimming through it. I haven't had a chance to actually read the book in its entirety, but I'm excited because I love the topic. I love the concept of living each day better than the day before and just making the most out of life every single day. I think it's an awesome philosophy, and I think you're the guy to talk to and sort of break things down. So I'm really interested in hearing your story and kind of learning more about your process and just making the most out of every single day. For those who aren't as familiar with your backstory, Brian, can you just break down how you became this life coach / best-selling author / speaker that you are today? Just quickly, for maybe 30 seconds to a minute, just run through, I know it's kind of a fast-paced time frame, but just run through what the backstory is there on Brian Falchuk.
Yeah, let me burn through it. So I grew up outside of Boston, and I was the fat kid all through my childhood. I was about 100 pounds overweight, and it was from not just the eating, but it was more about emotional and anxiety kind of stuff from my parents' divorce and things that ensued from that. I lost weight coming out of my teenage years and into high school, but I gained about half of it back. So I was in my early 30s, about 50 pounds overweight, father of a 2-year-old, and all of a sudden, 2011, my wife becomes gravely ill, actually to the point that, from our perspective, from what her doctors were saying, she was on her deathbed, and my 2-year-old was watching that. And that all struck me in such a strong and deep way. I woke up the morning after this final call with her doctor, who was basically like, there's nothing more we can do, that's it. just with this sense of purpose and clarity and true motivation that I'd never had before in my life. And I made a decision that was July 1st, 2011. I'm like, I can either see this and let it slip away, or I can grab hold of that ring and transform my life in all these ways that I'm so unhappy about it, because there's a good chance this little boy's only going to have me, and I got to do better for him. Now, my wife's still alive, but so we got through that, and she's okay. But we deal with her illness every day, and all three of us live a much better life. And I've now translated that out into helping others through what I've learned through this experience. I hope that wasn't too condensed, but not too long either.
No, I love it, man. That was perfect. And yeah, I forgot to mention you are a fellow Bostonian, which is pretty cool. I don't get too many of those guys on the podcast.
Yeah, I hide the accent as much as I can, but it can come out if I need it to, brother.
It comes out in just the right times, man. So, but yeah, that's a great story, man. I appreciate you sharing that. And did you say this was in 2011? Was that right? So like 7 years ago?
So it was July 1st, 2011. So yeah, we're coming up on 6.5 years. It'll be 7 this summer. And like I was like 222 pounds and about 20% body fat, and those days are behind me. I've been consistently about 180 since then. I'm vegan. I've run a marathon. I'm a C-level executive at an insurance company by day. I'm a best-selling author now. I write for Inc. magazine. Like, I'm not gloating. I'm just saying these are all things that were just so beyond the realm of possibility. And then I found my purpose, and it all, like, nothing stands in my way now, and that's what Do a Day is about, and that's what my coaching work focuses on. So it's just, you don't have to face losing your spouse or yourself or some other kind of like gun in your face kind of moment. You can get there anyway. You just have to be willing to get in touch with what actually matters to you, and that's what most people don't do.
Yeah, I'm sure that's kind of what you talk about in the book as well, is figuring out how to get in touch with what matters to you, right? Like figuring out what your purpose is.
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's all about, because that's what people give me is like, oh, I haven't been through what you went through, so I can't do it. And the book it's what I do in my coaching. So I'm trying to help more people than I could ever coach, is get that message out there, help people go through that exploration to figure out, what makes you really tick. You probably don't even realize it until you start the exploration. And then once you figure that out, you can absolutely just point that at every goal that you want to hit. And then Do a Day is really just, it's the execution. It's the way you do it, right here, right now, in this moment. It doesn't matter if you screwed up before. It doesn't matter how much you still have to go. It's like the 100 pounds. That's too much weight to lose. Like, I went through years of just that being too much. And the thing is, you're not losing 100 pounds at once. When I ran a marathon in 2015, I didn't run it in one step. That was months of training. And that was, step by step, I went through that thing. We end up just overpowered by all this judgment from mistakes of before, or things we missed that we don't have anymore, or it's all fear about like, oh, I still have all this to do, or what if this happens? And you end up never achieving anything today. So, you get that motivation, that purpose that underlies everything in you, figure out what you want to point it at with those goals, and then the execution is just like, look, go out there today and do exactly what you need to do in pursuit of those goals, and nothing else matters because you don't have anything else.
Yeah, I find it so much easier for people to just come up with one excuse after the other as opposed to actually facing their fears and doing the work, like the hard work. A lot of the time it's work that is going to be hard, so that's kind of what leads people to just kind of sit back and not take action and just let days pass them by, and then days become weeks and weeks become months, and years go by, and you're wondering why you're not happy, and you're wondering why you never did the things you really wanted to do. And it's because you let fears take over your life and dictate the way it was going to be led, as opposed to taking action and saying, you're going to stand up and actually do the things you need to do. Like, so many people know that they have to do shit. They just
don't want to admit it, or admit it to themselves.
And it's so much more convenient to think, oh, well, somebody else is, has this, or somebody else has that. Brian, lost 100 pounds. He has a special story, or he has this special gift that makes him unique. It's like, you're great because you're unique in the sense where, and guys like me and, other coaches and stuff like that are unique in the sense where we've taken action. But that's about it. Like, we don't really have any special gene or any special gift that that separates us from everybody else. I mean, of course, we have our unique characteristics and things like that, that, but everybody can do.
So does everyone.
Everybody has that. Everybody can do the things we're doing. Everyone can take action in their life and make the changes that are going to make them happy specifically. And it's just a matter of actually going through and, facing your fears and actually doing it.
Yeah, and you said it before, is like, we can sit there and compare ourselves to everybody else and point out, what they have that we don't have. The grass isn't green anywhere. You got to garden if you want it to be green. Like, you got to do the work, and it's not a competition. It doesn't matter whether I'm better at this or that, or whether, like, for people like, well, I haven't been through what you did. Well, it's who said, like, you have to have gone through something worse or equally bad. It doesn't matter. Your life's only relevant to you. Why are you looking around all the time? Mm-hmm. Just like you're living your life for you. It doesn't matter what someone 1,000 miles away that you see on social media is doing. Do what you need to do for you. Who cares about anyone else?
Exactly, man. What are the best ways that you found to figure out what your purpose is, or figure out what some of your passions are? I talk about this sometimes, but I'd like to have hear your perspective on it.
Yeah, so I have a chapter on this, and this is probably where I spend a good 50% of my coaching work with individual people on, is to try to figure out what makes them tick. And what we're going for is what I call like your true motivation, your real motivation. There's 4 things that really matter about it. It's got to be deep within you. So not surface level, not something external. It's like I mentioned my son. It's not about him. It's about me and my relationship to him, and, how I feel in that, and what my values are. Something that's enduring. So, it can't be about, like, losing. If we're talking about losing weight, it's not for your high school reunion, because what happens when that's done? It's got to be something that it's going to stick with you. Like, if you're talking about wellness for the rest of your life, or achieving some level of success, or whatever your goal is, it's not like, once you get there, then you're done and then you just quit. So you need something that's got to keep you moving for good. So that's the enduring part. It's got to be profound. Like, let's not screw around with little piddling stuff. Like, it's got to be something really, really big that when the chips are down and you're facing your worst, it's going to pick you up, because you're going to have to tap into it in those toughest moments. It's the thing when you dig deep, it's what you're digging for. So it's got to be really profound. And the last thing, and this is my view on it, some people can disagree, but I say it's got to be non-material. So it's not about wealth. It's not about the big house or a Ferrari or whatever. I always use a Ferrari example because I'm a car guy, but, like, it can't be one of those things. It's got to be something that's more values-driven, because all that kind of stuff eventually fades, and it's subjective. Like, you might change your views on it at one point. So it's got to be, enduring, profound, deep within you, and non-material. Those are the 4 key things. And the way we get there is I just ask a bunch of questions that they don't have one answer. They get a series of answers that take time to develop, and usually the answers people give me are wrong. And I don't mean like it's not what I wanted to hear. I mean, it's not what they wanted to hear. So my job as a coach is really just to keep asking why. Like, you pay me to be annoying. So, like, you give me an answer to one of these questions, and I'm going to push you further, because you're just scratching the surface. So it's things like, what are your most important values? What can you not imagine living without? Or what, if you imagine losing this thing that you would seriously feel like that's the end. Like, why am I even here? The way I sum it all up in one question is, no matter what else is going on, what will you always care about? And that's that value that's always going to pull you back to your center and remind you why you're doing what you're doing. And so those are easy things to come up with answers for, but hard things to come up with real answers for.
No, seriously, yeah. It goes a lot deeper than people typically want to dive, and unpack a lot of layers that I think have been suppressed or maybe hidden away for a lot of years, and to really get those answers out. Did you say there was like 4 specific steps you have for going about finding this? Yeah,
I mean, it's the specific questions that I ask people. So it's questions. Yeah, and I can lay them out, but make it simple. I think that last one is like, look, no matter what else is happening, what are you always going to care about? That's ultimately what we're trying to drive at. And some people, you need different questions to tease that out of you, and that's why I've got these other questions that sort of bring it together. But that's what I'm going for. And, as an example, like, if someone's, I was working with someone who wanted to get in better shape, and he was talking about it from a standpoint of, like, he wants women to find him attractive. in his early 20s. He doesn't want to be single for the rest of his. I was like, dude, I get it. I was the fat kid in high school. My wife's always like, oh, I would have liked you. I'm like, no, not the way I wanted you to.
Yeah.
You would have liked me as a friend, but and it's funny, like I was going to say kids that were like 40. I see people I went to high school with, and they're like, oh my God, you look amazing. I'm like, you don't remember. I was thin and buff. My